Hi, I'm JP Sears. Today I'll host Ask JP, as if that's never happened before. Today there is a really important question about how to trust other people. Why is this such an important question? How can you trust other people? From my point of view, if we can't trust, that means we're gonna be forever lonely and isolated, not letting anybody in. And on the other side, what happens if we trust everybody without boundaries? Could that mean we allow ourselves to become invaded and almost have no sense of self? So I'm going to listen up here to Uma's question from California. She writes, I catch my partner lying consistently. Do you have any advice on how to trust this other person? It's really hard for me to trust them. It makes me so insecure when I do try and trust them. That's pretty interesting. I would wonder, Uma, if you and I can consider that perhaps the healthy relationship with trust is one found within. It's one that says, I can trust me when it feels safe to trust other people. And I can also trust me when it feels unsafe to trust other people. So Uma, with what you're describing, I might venture to ask you to consider, is it actually safe to trust this other person? As you mentioned, you try and trust them, yet you feel insecure. What if the insecurity is the wisdom of your body, mind, and heart that says, it's not safe here? It's like if you go out walking on thin ice in the middle of a frozen lake or half-frozen lake, you might feel insecure. And that insecurity is the wisdom of your being saying, this isn't safe. It is not safe to walk here. It is not secure. It's not stable. So based on your experiences with your partner, it sounds interesting that you've been taught this is a person who's going to lie to you. So what if you found out when you do try and trust this person that your heart might be saying don't trust, what happens if you find out you actually violate yourself? You have a wise voice inside that says, I can trust, or rather it says, this is not a safe person to trust. And when we don't listen to that, there we go violating the wise inner voice. So I would ask all of us to consider how to trust means I look inward. And I ask very delicately, is this person, this situation, safe for me to become open and vulnerable and exposed with? And if it's not, for me, it is an act of physical, psychological, and spiritual health to cross our arms and realize I can't trust this person. It's not safe. If they've metaphorically stabbed me in the chest by lying multiple times, then I realize this is perhaps the most appropriate way for me to stand. And if I do my best to trust this person because who I want them to be is someone trustworthy, so I'm going to fool myself over and over and over again, trying to convince myself that they are who I want them to be. And each time I do that, I'm violating myself and learning it's not safe to trust me. I don't trust my judgment of when it's safe to trust other people. So this might be an experience where we look at who you want this person to be is very different than who they are. As long as you're trying to relate to who you want them to be, a trustworthy, safe, secure person in your life, you are perhaps being untrustworthy to yourself. Your real experience of this person is maybe over here. They lie. They're not trustworthy. They're not safe for me to be around. Interesting. So a little analogy I'd ask you to consider the innocent child who's been violated. The reason why children become violated emotionally, physically, sexually, whatever kind of abusive way is, the child doesn't know that they have a right, that they have personal power that allows them to say, I don't trust you. The reason why the child goes into the unsafe place with the unsafe person is because the innocent child actually becomes a naive child and trusts someone because they want this person, this neighbor, the family member, they want this person to be stable. They want this person to love them. So I'll trust you, says the child, without even feeling into, hey, is this person actually safe for me to trust? So then the child becomes violated. So your job is to realize you're a grown woman. You don't have to be the naive child that doesn't know she has a right to say no or to say you're not safe for me. I think, Uma, what you're teaching yourself is you're in a relationship where you don't trust yourself. And maybe recognizing that, honoring your inner wisdom is perhaps the powerful step of growth that you are tasked with present day. It's safe for me to trust when I feel safe trusting someone else, and it's safe for me to trust when it feels unsafe. The scary thing is, when it feels unsafe to trust someone, that might mean we realize it's a toxic relationship. We either have to leave them or put in a big, thick, healthy boundary. And that's scary. It causes us grief because it means this person isn't going to be who I wanted them to be. And sometimes we'll go on violating ourselves, not trusting our trustworthy voice because we're so desperate to have who we want them to be. So with that said, only secondarily is it a worthwhile question, in my opinion, to wonder, can I trust someone else? The big, bold question is, can I trust myself? And if not, let me consider, why is that? Uma, thank you for your very enlightening question. For me, it's a powerful way for all of us to consider, how can we healthfully trust and keep a solid sense of self and keep our trust something that opens our heart in a healthy way rather than something that wounds our heart.